In a format where every event or locals you go to has the same deck being played over and over, it makes you think, can we morph things into a better perspective? What's up guys, and welcome back to Main Phase TV. I am bringing my top 4, well, third place deck profile for Dinomorphia. We did lose to Branded. That was our only loss, and then they happened to take first place. Shout out to my homie Mark, amazing Branded player, but we definitely had to make him think with this deck. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it, and I don't want to waste any more time. Starting with the main deck engine for Dinomorphia, the monsters, your main starter is Theresia. By now y'all should know what they do. If you don't, I'll do a quick recap. Theresia on summon will set a Dinomorphia trap, any trap from deck to field. It is not ashable. Imperm, yes. Effect Veiler, yes. Anything else, probably not. Next we have the bad Dinomorphia monster, which is Diplos. 9 times out of 10, I usually use Diplos to foolish something like a counter trap in case, you know, they stop whatever you have going on field. You could potentially live for another turn, but 9 times out of 10, this is just for material, either for fusion or Xyz. And then for the other part of the engine, it is the free frenzy. It's also free. Basically, you send material from your main deck and extra deck to the grave. It is ashable. This is the better trap. However, this one does not play around Super Poly. If you're trying to play around Super Poly, the next best one is Domain. This also helps you dodge targets. If they try to imperm your Theresia, they try to imperm your Rex, you can easily, if you haven't used Domain, you have them both. This is by far the best thing you can do. Domain, dodge the target, they negged one, and you still maintain a Rex, because if you have Kentrigina and Rex on field because you use Frenzy, cool. If you want to play around Super Poly, use this. Not the Frenzy, sorry. Both good, but this is uses from field, hand, and deck. Both of them are very ashable. You die to ash pretty easy. If they ash this and you have nothing else, you might as well scoop, go to game 3 or game 2. Intact is our Solemn Strike, but instead of paying 15, it pays half your life points, which is the synergy part of the deck. Last one of is Alert, which is your monster reborn. So if you play into Super Poly, you have this set, no worries, just alert, bring back your Rex. This is definitely a one of, because you can copy the effect with Kentrigina when it's engraved. I don't play Brute, the non-target, because there are times that, yes, it is handy, you can side it, honestly, but I've played Brute too many times to where it really doesn't do anything too much, and it destroys your monster. And sometimes if you don't sequence it correctly, you'll end up popping your Rex Germ, so you have to be extra careful with that. We aren't playing Jet because Jet also destroys your monster, and you have enough counter traps in here anyway that will save you. And if you already used Intact that turn, you're not really going to need a Jet anyway, because this saves you for the rest of your turn. Now onto the spells. We are running 2 duality, sorry. 2 duality because you do special summon more times than not. This is typically just a turn 1 board. There's also other situations where you have a choice to make. Either you try to special summon, they negate, or you special summon and you are in a simple game state and it can stop you, or you can duality try to dig, but now you can't special summon. So it definitely puts you in certain situations that you have to really think it out, which in this case, in this deck, we don't have time to think. You have to already know the plays, especially because this deck plays into time so bad. So you have to already know more or less what you want to do. Next spell card is Pot of Prosperity. This is all basically just consistency to help dig. I can show you the first 3 targets. Typically, I don't ever run the second one, because by the time the second one comes up, we're already winning, so it's not really an issue. We don't really draw, and you can do either duality first, prosperity first, whichever one. They don't conflict. Side note, I always like to activate duality first because it gives my opponent a little bit mini heart attack because they think I'm playing flu. Another one is Fossil Dig, 2 of. This searches your dinos. I was running 3. I know there's a lot of 2 ofs. I'm actually going to be changing the deck a little bit. I just wanted to keep you up to date with the placement of the deck and how it was doing with the stuff that I'm testing out, so that way y'all can get ideas, or y'all can give me ideas, you know? So let you know where I'm at. But Fossil Dig searches your Theresia, your Misk if you're running it, your Diplos, which 9 times out of 10 you're not going to, but it's alright. Hand traps. The only hand trap that we're running is Dimension Shifter. Dimension Shifter wins you games. It basically stops Fire Kings from doing anything else, honestly. Shifter is such a strong card right now, and we are able to play around it if we need to. 9 times out of 10, it's really just to stop your opponent if you lose the dice roll, because losing the dice roll and going second with this deck is extremely hard. However, if we shifter them and we're playing Fire King Snake Eyes or Snake Eyes Pure, the most they're gonna do is normal summons for some populace, add the field spell, you know, whatever. Cool. On our turn, set 5, pass. That means that they have to start over, and we have a chance now to keep up with it. Shifter is amazing. Now, yes, drawing multiple does hurt. It's kind of bad, but it does become material for something else later on, and I'll explain. We are running a small dino package. 1 Misk, 1 Ovi, 1 Tyranno. Misk helps protect you in the main phase against Super Poly, Tactics, Dark, Talons, you know, all the stuff that can actually break our stuff. Misk is very helpful. Ovi Raptor does take a normal summon. This is follow-up for turn 3. So you normal summon Ovi Raptor add UCT. UCT is going to banish the materials that you use. If you use Frenzy, banish the Stealth Bergia because it's not summonable anyway. And then basically close out game. You attack all your opponent's monsters once. You can Book a Moon, do damage, and then attack with everybody else. If this gets impermed and you already use Misk effect, depending on how many materials you have, if you have enough materials, you can just Misk, banish 4, or if you haven't had access to this, you can use this to bring out this can do this. However, there's multiple ways to do it. It's actually pretty interesting when I banish 4 and bring out him, and it feels like a combo deck for a quick second. But it's pretty fun. It does help out. But that's it for the monsters. For the other traps, we are using Ferret Flames. This came up against Branded. I had to shuffle all his stuff. He had to shuffle all his stuff back, and he had a full board, and it was lethal as hell. So this card is amazing, especially against unaffected monsters, towers, because even though the unaffected monsters are unaffected by your activated effects, this affects the player, and it forces the player to make a decision or choose an action. Ferret Flames is by far my favorite card in this deck. After that, we are running 2 Solemn Judgment. I might bump this back to 3. The reason why I was doing 2 was because the 3rd Solemn Judgment is a Iron Thunder. Iron Thunder is actually pretty nice depending on the situation. The only issue is you have to watch where they put their monster if you're going to choose to negate it, because it can destroy another trap that you may have set in a different column, because it destroys everything in that column along with the monster, spell, trap. We are running 2 Solemn Strikes. 2 Solemn Strikes because the 3rd one, it's always weird. You can use two Solemn Strikes, but by the time the 3rd one comes up and you draw it, it's dead unless you bring out Stealth Bergia. Plus the 1500 life points is super weird. And it does start getting a little crazy with the math, but Solemn Strike is still good. You already have 3 other Solemn Strikes. Technically, Iron Thunder is another Solemn Strike. The only issue is this has to be on field. This doesn't matter where it activates, it's still gonna get it. The last 2 spells, and I forgot, which is the Super Poly. So if you draw into multiple shifters, you activate shifters, well, now you have discard fodder for your Super Poly, and you just pitch the other shifter. Super Poly is nice to go against, like with Voiceless Voice. Like you go into Mud Dragon in your draw phase, call Dark, and then during the main phase they can't use their trap effect. Now be careful, because the trap effect, the trap card that Voiceless Voice uses, is only in the main phase. So please don't get cheated out there like a few other people that I know. It's not because they intentionally did it. It's just sometimes we're so caught up in the moment. I get it. But it did happen to me. They tried to cheat me on it. They tried to use it multiple times in the draw phase after I told them, hey, only in the main phase, we're in the draw phase, I'm using my Dragon Call Dark, can't target my stuff, which is perfectly fine. But Super Poly is really nice against Voiceless Voice. It's nice against Branded. It's decent against Snake Eye, depending on what the situation is or the board. If they're trying to build their board, you Super Poly, you're good. Just hope they don't have anything else to follow up with. And then the last one of are Daruma Cannon and IDP. IDP never came up. Daruma Cannon came up once. And honestly, the Daruma Cannon was pretty nice, because then you could just go UCT and just attack all of their monsters, send it to grave, burn them for 1,000 each, and then still attack with their other, like Rex and Kenchijina. So that was pretty nice. Now off to the extra deck. We are running 3 Stealth Bergia. 9 times out of 10, this is your material fodder for Frenzy. And maybe rarely you'll ever summon one out. But 9 times out of 10, I'll use 1 for Prosperity. Then we're running 3 Kenchijina. Kenchijina is definitely one of the key pieces to the combo, where you use her effect to copy a Dinomorphia normal trap card from the grave. It does banish for cost, and it does pay half your life points for cost. So don't let anybody try to DD Crow before you try to do anything. You can just chain to it anyway. So then you have the boss monster, which is 3 Rexsturm. Rexsturm is your main point of the deck. This is your stun part. Monsters they control cannot, activate effects that have equal to or more attack than your life points. Super Poly targets Mud Dragon and King of the Swamp, or Mud Dragon of the Swamp and Garura. Sorry, Garura helps. Doesn't really come up too much, but Mud Dragon does come up a lot, and Mud Dragon does help with the non-target of your monsters. Next, we're running 1 Typhon. Typhon does come up, but it didn't come up too often. Then we are running 1 Logia. Logia was super nice. Definitely puts your opponent in a tough situation, especially if you already have Rex. If they have something to try to stop a Rex or combo off, Logia is your dragon. So, and then the last for potential OTK is Raider's Knight and Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. You do your level 4s up into Raider's Knight. Raider's Knight detach 1. Then you'll go into Arc Rebellion. And then Arc Rebellion will detach, negate everything on board, and it gains the attack of all the monsters. And it can get pretty beefy. And you just hope either they have a monster in attack position, or they have nothing on board. That's typically when that comes up. But other than that, it really doesn't come up too often. This is more for style points, I guess, or a last resort, depending on the circumstance. Now to the side deck, we are running 2 Lightning Storms and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Going second, 9 times out of 10, I don't know why, but especially now, their going first cards are Summon Limit, 9 times out of 10, Summon Limit or Anti-Spell. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a Summon Limit. So Summon Limit doesn't help you, so you can actually use this to try to break your opponent's board, be it out of Omni Negate, whatever the case is. And if they negate the activation, you just search the next, if you have another one, use it. This is good against Super Poly, a set 1, because this deck is biggest weakness is Super Poly. Next we have 1 Baldrake, 1 Magnemite, 1 Druiswarm. I was running 4 Bystials, but to be honest, this deck can oppress Voiceless Voice pretty good, so it's not that big of a deal. We don't need to really look for Bystials, but I figured these are pretty nice. Plus Baldrake tributes another Dark Dragon or Dark Monster. Yeah, Dark Monster, which most of your monsters are. You can just tribute a Theresia, Stealth Bergia, Kenchijina, Never the Rexsturm to help negate, whatever it is. Next, this is a trap deck. We don't really care about the spells too much. We're running 3 anti-spells. because 9 times out of 10 they're gonna try to use like enemy controllers, super poly. You just activate this on the draw phase, you're safe from like lightning storm, talents, all that stuff, all the boring normal spells. Next, we are running 3 summon limits because summon limit is the meta right now as far as going first. It absolutely hurts combo decks, it hurts Snake Eyes, it hurts Fire Kings, or Snake Eye Fire Kings. If they get to the Grunics, if they get to the Kirin, somehow you let them, just scoop, because they'll just be able to out it easy as hell. But yeah, summon limit is very self-explanatory. And then the last one is evenly matched. Breaking boards is pretty nice. Banishing everything face down. It's really good against the branded. If you see it, because they lose a lot of materials like that. Mirror Jade can't activate unless they leave Mirror Jade up for whatever reason. But everything else, this is pretty good. I am going to be making changes to this, so you can use this as a, I guess, a base. And then shout out to the Dinomorphia group on Facebook for helping me out. I was watching their deck profiles. I saw homie in Houston was at the top tables for a little bit with Dinomorphia, so I had to message, or I had to ask him like, yo, show me the list, what you got going on. And I kind of used that as a basis as well, and then made my own concoction. But I definitely like the little Dino package. At first I was hesitant about it. I didn't really like it too much. I was more about pure. However, he did make some points on why running it was good. And yeah, so I appreciate y'all guys. I will be recording next locals experience. I hope y'all enjoy that one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play Dinomorphia for locals experience, but I'm definitely gonna be testing out from now till then for Dinomorphia. So we'll see y'all guys next time, and y'all have a good one. Peace.